Hey, welcome to the 514th episode of Just Shoot It, a podcast about filmmaking, screenwriting, and directing. This episode is brought to you by patron Matthias Kepler. I'm Matt Enlow.
And I'm Warren Kaplan. And today we have Chuck Kinnane on the podcast. He is an awesome filmmaker. He has one of the craziest stories about how he got his first movie. I'm going to let you all just listen to it. He also has 7 brothers that he works with. I think that's all the headlines. We talked about that. Maybe too much. We probably cut some of the brother stuff out in the beginning because I bet everyone asks him about working with the brothers, don't you think?
Well, no, maybe. That's got to be a way in, but I think like...
It is fascinating.
To me, it's fascinating. It's hooky. It's fun. First of all, he's a really great conversationalist. It was really fun. I think he was game, like really open and humble and like just happy to talk about his filmmaking career. And clearly it's a dream come true, right? So I think he's quite relatable in that way. But I think also like we weren't just like, isn't it crazy you work with your whole family? Like I have legitimate
like how do you separate the money and the work and the things?
In the way that I think that we oftentimes will talk with off the show or on the show, people who are partners. If you're a screenwriting partners, if you're a directing duo, like how do the logistics break down, right? But this gets just complicated and compiles. And so, yeah, I was really just like, how do you play this to your advantage? How does this work? You know, just walk us through it. And so I think if you're in a creative partnership of any sort, you're going to relate. You're going to relate to this stuff for sure. It's just, you're probably not related to your entire crew.
Right. He's one of 10 kids. Yeah. But I really love the nuts and bolts part of this conversation where he just talked about like how he got, I think Solomeo is his third movie or that was his second movie. Now he's already shot his third movie.
Yeah. They're in post on their third movie. Yeah.
And these are not small movies. They all have A-list like stars in them and budgets. And he was not connected, with anyone starting out. So just if you listen to the sequence of events that got him to where he is today, it's quite fascinating and almost emulatable in a way. You do not have to have 7 brothers being filmmakers with you in order to get to where he got to. And I feel like he's just very nice, humble, smart, fun conversation. So I hope you enjoy it and check out Solomeo if you can, starring Kevin James. Before we talk to him though, I just wanted to there's not much to say other than that we went to this panel and it was just an incredible panel.
It was so fun. We went to 2 that were both great. I almost texted you like, oh, should we do like a special episode that's just like a rubbing elbows episode?
Oh yeah, we did rub some elbows, but it's because our seats are quite narrow. We're sitting in coach at the DGA Theater.
We went to the DGA Theater because the DGA Awards were just this week. And we went to both the feature and commercial directors panels, both of which were really fun.
Totally different ways.
So the commercial directors panel, there's like a little bit of a gala afterwards. There's drinks and there's very hot appetizers. And
you mean like temperature-wise?
Yeah.
Burned ourselves.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Cassie laughed at both of us.
Well, because I was like trying to have a conversation while literally probably getting second-degree burns inside my mouth.
And I made the mistake of hanging out with
twice.
Matt Garrett and Matt Pollock all night.
2 other Matts.
Good buddies, good dudes, good hangs. And also, anytime we met someone new, we had to each go, hi, I'm Matt.
Yeah, I introduced you guys a few times. I was like, this is Matt. Actually, these are all Matts. And it does kind of erase your identity a little bit.
Yeah. We're just like, okay, we're just a blob of Matts now.
It's like, well, I guess that person's not going to hire me. There's a 1 out of 3 chance they'll hire the right person.
Even though Garrett's a DP. Anyway, yeah.
But if it's on the feature panel, as I would say, the famous directors.
Spike Jonze was on the commercial directors panel. So
yeah, Spike Jonze is there. I said hi to him. It's my second time saying hi to him. That's about as far as it went.
Yeah, Oren said hi to all of the directors on the panel and then sat down next to me and you were like, oh yeah, I'm a little nervous. And I was like, you literally talked to the most famous people in the room first.
Yeah, because I was on the nomination day. So my Kevin Brady, my first AD, he was like, oh, you gotta just like walk up to them, tell me that you nominated their work and that they should be appreciated, that you're the reason they're nominated. Which I have no idea how big the nomination panel is. I think it's probably like 10 people or something.
Oh, it's probably bigger than that, right? I don't know. I guess
I asked because I mentioned it to a bunch of commercial directors and they were like, oh, they didn't ask me. So I don't know. I asked the woman that runs the commercial department there. I was like, how do they choose the panel? And she's like, oh, it just kind of has to do with like how much they're working in commercials and something. I don't know.
Do they have a podcast?
Yeah, they have a podcast if they're unemployed at the moment. Like a lot of people turned us down before we got to you. Don't worry.
Sure.
But yeah, but it's, I don't know. It's weird because a lot of people that go to the commercial nominee event are DPs. They're not all directors. There's reps. Some production company folks there.
I was going to say there's also like a vibe at the DGA of like kind of guys in their like 50s, like with like a nice pair of slacks they got from Costco and like, you know, a baseball hat and like, it's probably the USC or some other, you know, like just kind of like these like sort of jockey, uptight, like alpha ADs. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Oh yeah, there are a lot of ADs
like
that are there too.
They don't have like a surveillance in their ear, but they should. Like they feel weird not having one, you know?
Yeah. Some cargo pants.
It's
like
good people.
Shirt, tie, and cargo pants. Interesting.
Yeah.
But the feature panel had from right to left,
Josh Safdie.
PTA.
Sorry. Yeah. Pardon me. Yeah.
Paul Thomas Anderson. By the way, I'll get to who introduced it then Guillermo del Toro. Then we had in the middle Chloe Zhao, and then to her right we had Ryan Coogler, and then to his right we had Josh Safdie. And they were introduced by freaking Christopher Nolan, who like barely said anything. I was like, him being in this room makes me want him to be like at least part of the panel in some weird way. But no, he just sat like the rest of us listening. But it was a really good panel. I think
it was 3 hours long.
It was 3 hours long. It felt like 2 hours and 15 minutes. It was longer than any of their movies, oddly enough. No, maybe not longer than One Battle After Another.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Or Frankenstein, actually. But I did find that like the younger the directors were, the more kind of insightful what they said was and it could be because Paul Thomas Anderson and Guillermo del Toro have talked. So I've heard so much from them, especially Guillermo del Toro.
Hold on, check yourself. He was dropping insights left and right. That's all anyone was talking about.
Guillermo?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you could tell that he's given those insights like 10 times, you know?
Well,
filmmaking is like war. Filmmaking is like sure. Like he has all these sayings and things.
Yeah. It's hard to say because he's also quite eloquent. So like it might feel trite because he said it before. It might feel
he's moderated just thousands of panels. That guy is an expert on speaking. So certainly, it just didn't feel like
Josh Safdie, who maybe is repeating himself as well, feels a little bit more spontaneous. I hear your point.
Yeah, I like you posted his thing about the JFKs that came out of nowhere. You know, like no, I don't know. He and Ryan and Chloe's just like operating on a different plane of directing, you know, and Ryan too, to some degree. He's like kind of bridges the gap between the technical and the like spiritual.
He felt like I think Ryan Coogler's a poet, truly. He felt like the most relatable to me in terms of like, he was just like dealing with production logistics and like, what order should we shoot Michael B. Jordan in? Does Easy in more of a this mood or a that mood? You know, like,
yeah, I guess I found Josh Safdie like the most relatable, like the most like, oh, I could see myself kind of doing what he's doing. And Ryan Coogler still just seems like he could like point to any prop in his movie and be like, so the reason we used the silver cup here is
sure.
People, like
it traces back to this and that.
You find so much meaning in every pixel on the screen.
Yeah, he's the best.
It's shot in IMAX, so not pixels.
Yeah, it's a lot of microns. The thing about Safdie that he's got that like maverick energy that like, you know, he mentions like, oh, in McCabe and Mrs. Miller, they would just go like, Mrs. Miller, pardon me, they would go to the bar to get extras and just everyone would be super drunk and like that energy transfers onto screen. Or like did you realize he kept talking about Jack Fisk, his production designer?
Oh yeah.
Who's like the best production designer ever, basically. But like is very like, you know, there was that write-up that I think we talked about on the show in like the New York Times about how like he's, you know, he comes from a carpentry background. He's building everything. He's really into archival. He's uncovering things. He did the Killers of a Flower Moon sets. So like that, I think that was when the last write-up was. It was like, oh, there's this weird location where it's a barber shop and also a pool hall in the same space. Yeah. So, well, that was Killers of a Flower Moon. He built a vintage bowling alley or augmented.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, the point is, it was really great. I think the big takeaway was just like every director was like, hey, don't say too many things to actors. Say 5 words if you can.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice thing to see them all kind of say the same thing.
Yeah.
It was really fun. I guess the whole point of talking about it was only to be like, how cool is that we got to see those people in a room together. And again, one of my reasons to be in LA, there aren't a lot of cities that would have those 6 people in a room together.
That's stack. Yeah.
Plus
incredible.
the 2 of us,
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, go to our patreon.com/justshootapod and enjoy the show. Chuck Kinnane.
And we get a pitch from Imani about like, oh, you should meet the Kinnane brothers. There's 45 of them and they're just a whole filmmaking squad.
There's 8 of us. Yeah.
8 of you.
There's,
okay.
Yep.
I feel like if I had 7 brothers doing all the work while I just did the interviews, it'd be pretty easy. But I guess I don't know.
What? You think it would be a lot easier. It's never easy.
I thought it would be harder. Yeah.
Yeah. I have 2 brothers that definitely make my life harder. Matt has a brother.
I have a brother. My life's pretty easy. But
and is it like the Jonas Brothers where like 8 of you are making movies and there's 3 other ones that are like accountants?
Yeah, just riding along, like hold the weed for everybody.
I'm the one who's riding along. You're talking to the one who's
yeah, it just tells everyone what to do. Where are you in the birth order? Where are you in the
I'm the oldest.
Sure. Yep.
So I'm the oldest.
The age range?
So I'm 42 and John, the youngest, is 25. He'll be 26 this year.
Oh,
so
cool.
17 years between us. Yeah.
Incredible.
Kind of crazy.
So yeah, I get this email and I'm like, I've heard of these guys before.
No way.
In 2019, the October before the pandemic hit, I was in the Austin Film Festival and one of maybe your littlest brother was there as well. Did you guys have a short in Austin that year?
Yeah, we were all there. We had a short.
Yeah. And I remember there was the Q&A and he kind of explains like, oh, it's me and my 8 brothers or 7 brothers. We're all making movies together. And we were like, oh, that's memorable. That's interesting. And then at the film festival, it's a shorts block, right? So there's a bunch of us all up there and like, your mom is asking you a question or whatever. Someone asks you what camera you used or whatever. And inevitably the last question of the film festival panel is always, well, what do you have next? And your little brother is like, well, we happen to have a movie with Kevin James. And everyone's like, what? Just green with envy. And so fast forward to 2026, I get an email that says, hey, a Kevin James movie with a squad of brothers.
No way.
Helming it. And I'm like, Oren, we're taking this interview. Let's make it happen.
And Matt was like, we should have invested. We should have bought in when you guys were inexpensive.
So here we are, Chuck. Congratulations.
Amazing.
And also in between then, I saw the Sound Guy shorts. Which are so funny. And in fact, at the end of the episode, I should have mentioned this to you. At the end of the episode, we do what's called unpaid endorsements, where we like mention a thing that we like and we dig back to the archives circa 2020. I guarantee that the Sound Guy shorts was
for
my
sure.
unpaid endorsement.
Yeah. Matt was a real big fan. And I was
they're so
it's like, I don't
They're
get
really
it because it's just behind the scenes footage. It's like,
that's
not
amazing.
An thing.
So for listeners who haven't been listening since 2020 or whenever it was, the Sound Guy shorts is Kevin James, in like tackle vest, holding the boom pole as though he is performing. It was the boom operator on. I think the most viral one was A Star Is Born.
Star Is Born.
Right? Yeah. But also, did you do the Notebook as well?
We did the Notebook. There Will Be Blood.
Yes. Yeah. They're all so
No
funny.
Country for Old. Yeah, No Country for Old Men.
And he's just reacting to listening to the dialogue.
Yeah, he's in the coin. He's in the coin flip scene, and he. We did that classic thing where they used to do this at the Oscars, right? Where they put the host in the movies.
Right. Like
So
Ben Stiller and Tom Cruise.
Yeah. So it was our brother Pat's idea, who's one of the writers in the group. And he had this funny idea. It's like, what if Kevin plays the sound guy? And the guys kind of comped this idea and showed it to him. And Kevin's like, I love this. Let's do 1 million of them. And then we ended up doing 1 million of them because we were in lockdown with him.
There you go. Well, so there's 2 obvious questions.
Yes.
Right.
When did you kidnap Kevin James?
When did you No. So I think maybe in order we go 8 brothers all making movies together, and then how the heck did Kevin James become the 9th Kinnane brother? Right?
Yeah. Or is he your dad?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Easy answer. Yeah.
It's kind of a funny story because we always made films together just for ourselves. Nothing, we posted.
But
some
there's
stuff
a 17-year age gap. So are you making films at like 16, and then every time a new kid comes in, it's like, oh, look who's talking 7.
Yeah. I was making stuff at 10 years old. I was making stuff,
but half your brothers weren't alive then.
They weren't alive yet. So
you're like, Mom, Dad, I need a bigger crew, please.
We get new actors coming up every year.
You're like, Mom, can you birth a financier, please? That's the one thing we're missing.
That's what we really needed. Yeah. But yeah, these guys have been in stuff in our shorts since before they could remember.
And these guys, you mean your brothers?
My brothers. Yeah, my brothers. And it is what we did for fun. And then I went off to try to pursue it professionally in New York. And they stayed.
Did you go to film school or anything?
No, I went right to work at a closed circuit television studio.
Sure.
And
CTV.
I know it was kind of a crazy experience. But I went to New York and started making documentaries and was there for a while. We had a couple documentaries that got made. We had one that I got picked up by Netflix, early days of Netflix. And
was it Super Jaime or Helvetica?
Super High. Yeah.
Helvetica. Probably some of the best kerning content I've ever seen.
You remember that, right?
I love that.
Yeah. But I remember being at Comedy Central at the time, and the head of digital being like, who here subscribes to Netflix? And we all raised our hand. And he was like, who here watched Helvetica? And we all raised our hands. And he was like, they're selling you content you don't want. This is the greatest trick the devil ever pulled. No one wants to watch a font documentary. And we all had. Anyway, sorry, Chuck. Back.
So that our film was one of those. One of the ones you didn't want to watch.
Sure. Which one was it, though? Which one was it? It
was a film called The Human Experience. And it was we made it as 20 something, very altruistic. We were searching for the meaning of life. We were like, why do bad things happen to good people, or why do bad things happen to everybody? And so we went out in the street. We talked to a lot of homeless in New York, and that led us on a trip around the world. And it was all done on a shoestring budget, but somehow Tom Shadyac got behind it. He saw it, and he ended up promoting it, and then it became a thing with Oprah, and Oprah loved it, and it ended up on Netflix. It was a really interesting film. Took us around the world screening it, but and it was a fun thing to do. But we always loved comedies. We always loved making shorts. And what happened was I went back home after spending a number of years in New York, and all my brothers were still making shorts. They're working in carpentry. And we decided, it's about 10 years ago, we're like, hey, let's just make a run. We've always wanted to make a movie, want to make comedies. Let's get together, put our heads together, and let's just try to make a run for it. Let's see if we can put our efforts together and try to get a movie made. And here we are. We joke that it took us about 10 years, but we finally have a movie made coming into theaters.
So this is the first feature that you guys have done together.
We did. It's our first feature in theaters. We ended up doing we got this incredible opportunity from working with Kevin doing the shorts. Adam Sandler gave us a movie at Netflix, as he gives projects to a lot of people. We were one of the lucky beneficiaries of his generosity.
Of that deal. Yeah, sure.
That deal.
I signed up for the lottery, but I guess
I know we did. And so we did a movie for him and for Netflix, and Kevin was in it. It was a kid's sports comedy.
What's it called?
It was called Home Team. Came out 2022 on Netflix.
How cool.
But anyway, it was a amazing school for us. We got to work with the Happy Madison crew, which are just as far as like a comedy school. It was one of the most amazing landings in Hollywood we could have had. So we're
just
so grateful.
To pump the brakes real quick, sorry to interrupt, but when someone comes to you and says, hey, we want you guys to make a movie, there's 8 of you, are they like, so who's going to direct? And you're like, is it, how does the division of
in the wheel of jobs? And
yeah, so it's funny because at working together over a number of years, everyone kind of found their lane. So Dan and I are a team now, directing as a team. And Dan was our cinematographer, who then, we started directing as a team. Peter is our editor. He's been editing. He just kind of fell into it, was cutting stuff. He was like the guy that didn't want to be on set. He's like, I love seeing all the material come in and telling the story. And then John, Pat, and Bren started writing. And John, who's the youngest, who maybe you met, Nat, at the Boston Film Festival, around that time, or no, it was a couple years before that, John started this thing where he was taking scripts and playing them against scenes of movies that we loved. And that's how we learned how to write. and we would watch the script play below the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then he started posting these online, and he has a huge following now. John has his screenplayed, and that's how we learned how to write movies, was with that screenplayed, watching the movie and reading the scripts beneath it.
That's
So everyone's
cool.
kind of found their lane. It's kind of strange. And there is an element of everyone kind of chiming in on what's good and what's working, what's not working, but everybody's kind of picked a lane. And then finally Jeff and Will are our producers. They're the guys that do all the deals and keep things moving. So
I have to ask, as brothers, do your old habits ever come out? You grew up, you're all the
A lot of
professionals
rubber
now.
scissors.
But does anyone want to give somebody like a wedgie or like a noogie or you get what I'm getting at, like that, or rather the maybe more mature version of that, right? The family instincts, yeah.
No, it's something we deal with on a daily basis. I mean, we've had
You call your mom, he's be like,
mom's the mediator.
John wrote me out of the scene. You guys don't have scene movies,
yeah.
right?
It's a process. Like I think, we'll have full blown out, it won't turn into a fist fight, but we'll have,
sure,
as far as an idea and is it working or not. And there'll be some very strong conversations and fights about something. And what's interesting about the dynamic is that you kind of, for better or for worse, you get past the niceties, right? So for us, it works because you can get to the better idea quicker, hopefully, where you can get past where I think in the professional setting, you want everyone to like you. You want to, you want to be political and pragmatic and not piss anyone off and not shit on someone's idea. In the world that we operate in, it's like the best idea wins. Nobody gives a fuck if you need.
It just happens to be the biggest brother.
No, it's funny because I would say there's been moments where I fought for my ideas and almost tried to pull rank on them, and then very quickly you learn like, all right, well, listen, I got to listen. I trust these voices in the room, and if they have the best interest of the project in mind, right, then we got to listen to that. And I think it's a lesson for everybody where it's so easy to get wrapped up in your ego and say, I've got the best idea, but it's another thing to put all that to the side and say, we got to work towards what's really going to work. Yeah.
I was going to say, it reminds me of, we had the Radio Silence guys on a few years ago when Ready or Not was just coming out. And yeah, so talented. And it's 4 of them, or is it 3 of them?
I think we had 3, but
it's 3. Yeah, it's a 3-person collective. That's right.
Amazing.
And for guild reasons or whatever, like one of them is listed as a producer or whatever, but they kind of think of themselves as a 3-headed dragon. And their problem solving basically boiled down to, they had a rule of like, who cares the most? Like, who's the most passionate about their point getting across? And you have to earn it. It's not just like, I care more than you do, dude. But like, you have to argue for it. But like, the rule was, clearly you care more than I do, so you win, right?
Wow.
Do you guys have any sort of like problem solving techniques along those lines, or how do you guys deal with it? How do you determine which idea is the best in order for the best idea to win?
So yeah, one of the great things about having so many brains in the think tank, which again, it's a double-edged sword, right? It works against you in some ways. You have too many opinions. But what's nice, the so-called first idea, like if everybody thinks of the same joke at first, it's like, okay, that's the obvious one.
Sure.
Let's dig deeper. Let's get past that. So that's a great litmus test
for
the ideas. And I don't know if for us, it doesn't work maybe at who cares the most. I think maybe it's very rarely 50-50. Like it's normally one guy fighting for his idea and everybody's like, dude, that, we've seen that before, or there's a better way to do that. So for us, I think it's a fast, it's kind of a very democratic process, I think, in a lot of ways where instantly you'll tell, okay, there's 5 or 6 guys who are saying this is the right creative choice. And then there's a couple guys, maybe there's 1 or 2 guys fighting for it, but it's very rarely split down the middle. I can't think of anything we've had where we came to a stalemate for something where if it wasn't glaringly obvious that most of the group thought this was better. So again, I don't know. And it's to be proven too. I mean, we'll see. We're very early in our careers. This is our 2nd movie coming out. We just wrapped our 3rd movie.
Oh, congratulations.
But we'll see what the audience thinks. We'll see if people, if our creative decision-making has proved to work.
I want to get to the Kevin James of it all in a minute, but I have another just like logistical Eight Brothers
Yes.
question. So like, obviously you guys have kind of divided up the tasks, right? So like,
Yes.
so most of the time the producers go produce and the editors go edit and the writers go write and all that stuff. But obviously there is that angle of like a mob of brothers, like that is a novelty, right? And that is like kind of a marketing hook. It worked on me, right?
Yeah.
Is there ever a circumstance where you're like, hey guys, it's got to be all of us in this meeting? Or is it always just like, okay, well, it's a pitch meeting, so, these parties should go? And do you ever get the whole circus out to a meeting, or, is it always just kind of like on the party lines?
It's funny. I think the more that we're getting our stuff out there, I think people are more open to the idea of meeting with everybody. And it doesn't have to be. We have maybe there's a handful of us that'll go on the first meeting. But I think we met a lot of opposition early on. I mean, I'll even be honest. I think the producers of the movie that we're releasing tomorrow, when they heard how many of us that were involved, they were like, "Oh no, we can't have that many people."
Yeah. You guys don't all line up on the Zoom. You just
no. And we were like, no, this is, and again, I think it's, what's nice too, maybe, is, I don't know if this makes sense, but there's kind of a common aesthetic at play where
you
I
guys
think
all look alike.
Not the look alike, but I think as far as our tastes, what we gravitate towards, and that's something that's just built into. I mean, it's like, I guess, I'd liken it to maybe if you ever seen family playing basketball together or something, there's just kind of there's a connection
Jackson
there.
5.
Yeah, there's a connection there that I can't explain, but it's an aesthetic. We love a lot of the same movies. We're drawn to a lot of the same stories. But yeah, it's not, I don't know if it'd be interesting. Certain people I think are more willing are excited about the idea than others who are like, I just can't deal with this many people having an opinion.
Sure. Like, look what happens when you break up the Safdies and the Coens. Don't do it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Sorry, no disrespect.
I just want to ask one last brother question. So when like Sandler's company comes to you and says, let's make this movie, like, I guess, do you still need the producer brothers? Do they let you use your editor brother? Do you have to join guilds? And some of you do join and some don't. And like, how does that get really complicated faster?
So it did. I would say and again, the Sandler movie was our first foray into, making a movie. We weren't in the guild before then. So we joined the guild. Dan and I joined as a team. Sandler already has his editors. He already has his producers, his writers. So Happy Madison was like, all the brothers can come and be a part of it. But we were definitely coming on to a Happy Madison set. It wasn't
it wasn't a Kinnane Brothers set.
It was not a Kinnane Brothers set. Exactly.
Yeah.
So we talked about that as a group, and we said, listen, this is an opportunity. It was kind of this crazy opportunity that came about. And we talked about it as a group, and we said, listen, we're just going to take the opportunity. We're grateful for it. And the thinking is all boats rise with the tide. So even though a lot of the guys didn't get credit, they were all part of it. So a lot of the guys were working on set, and even Peter, who didn't edit the movie, who's our normal editor, he got very in tight with the Happy Madison guys, Brian Robinson, Tom Costain, and they've mentored Pete. And Pete's learned so much.
Yeah.
Pete's in his, mid-20s, and he's getting mentored by these guys who are doing these huge Netflix movies. And so everybody, it was an amazing, we look at it as just a crazy thing that happened. Like Sandler's friends with Kevin, and he gave us a movie, and it sounds terrible. I mean, you have some incredible, obviously you have an incredible audience of cinephiles, but we've been the biggest movie fans our entire lives. We've worked in indie projects forever. Our very first time on like our real studio movie set was on this Adam Sandler produced movie.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how it goes sometimes though, right?
That's how it goes. And again, we feel, it's, I don't know if it's like a Nepo baby feeling, but it kind of is, we didn't do anything to deserve it, It's
it's a long road to get there though, right?
Yeah. We made a lot of fun shorts, and Sandler gave us a shot with Kevin.
And you didn't fuck it up and a million times over. Do you know what I mean? There's so many circumstances where you could make the mistake that would blow everything, and they'd be like, well, sorry, Chuck, this one's not going to go your way, or we're going in another direction. Like, no one's altruistic. You got to have the goods in order to make it happen.
Right.
Can I ask a slightly personal question?
Yes.
Feel free to cut this out if you don't want to answer it. But so some of you guys are paid to be on the set. but all of you are on set.
Yeah.
How's the financials? Like, are people just taking a loss? Are you guys all sharing it? How does that work?
We split our director's fee with everybody.
Yeah. Hardcore.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't have to put that in, but yeah, that's honestly what we did.
Should we cut that out? It's up to you.
No, it's totally up to you.
It's
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, I think it's very cool. I bet your mom and dad were pretty proud.
Well, it was the only right thing because we'd all worked together as a team for so long, and then for only a couple of the guys to get a line item, it was the only right thing to do. So, and it's kind of how we're like, listen, we're gonna find a way to make this work. It's not gonna be pretty. It's not gonna be great, but we're eventually gonna take this crooked path, and as a group, we're all gonna end up doing it. Now finally we are with Solo Mio. Everybody was involved, and now our new film that we just wrapped, even more so. And that's with a major studio, and we're thrilled. So I feel like we're finally getting our footing. It's taken like anybody in the business. It just takes some time. Unless you're like once in a generation.
David Ellison.
Talent.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Right.
Wait, okay, so let's get into Kevin James. Where is he coming from?
So Kevin, we got a call from Kevin out of the blue. He'd seen a short film that we had worked on, and
so you guys just had a good short film, and he saw it on Vimeo or at a festival or something, or
it was a viral film that we had, and it was actually a documentary doc short that we had done called Just Keep Swimming. And it's this interesting connection between the writer director of Finding Nemo and our nephew Francis. And there's this great, I love talking about this because there's a great TED talk that Andrew Stanton gives about the clues to a great story. I don't know if you've seen it.
I think so. I think it might have even been an endorsement, right? Yeah. Andrew Stanton's TED talk.
Andrew Stanton's TED talk. Yeah, but it's this amazing TED talk, and I watched it. When the same time I watched it, he talks about how write what you know. And he said, Finding Nemo was him. He's like, I was born very premature. Andrew Stanton talked about being born a premature baby, and his parents gave him a shot, and he wasn't supposed to survive. And so Finding Nemo, that was him, that little fish with the arm. And I sent it to my sister because she was in the hospital at the time with my nephew who was born very premature. Very tough situation. And
wait, sorry, not to disrupt
Wait,
you have a sister too?
We have two sisters. Yeah. There's 10 of us in the family.
Wait, so how do they feel? They're just like, we don't want anything to do with the boys, or just
no, they love it. Maureen, my sister Maureen, she'll come on set. She'll take a lot of photographs. She's a photographer. And then our sister Janie's an artist, and we're always trying to get her artwork in the movie. And
your parents had 10 kids, and all of them are artists.
10 kids, yeah. And even there's one brother who is probably the only smart one in the group, but he started his own business, and he does interior trim working.
Right on.
So
smart.
He
smart
stayed in the he stayed with the carpentry path, and he has a very successful business with our cousin. But yeah, they love it. They're huge supporters, but they're like, no, we're going to get a regular paycheck.
Yeah. And they still get the set visit, right? Like, it's the best world.
Exactly.
They've got a selfie with Sandler as well, right?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. We were in a moving story. I didn't mean to derail. Yeah.
No, I'll just share this story because real quick. But so my sister's in the hospital with my brother-in-law Jeff. Their baby's in the NICU, struggling to survive, and I sent her this TED talk from Andrew Stanton because it blew me away. And I think her response was like, "Why the hell are you sending me a TED talk? I'm in the hospital with my son." I was like, "Just watch it." And she watched it, and it was about this incredible story. Andrew Stanton talked about, and he talked a lot about how stories give us hope, and it's something that his story gave my sister hope, and being in a tough situation. And then what happened is I was on a Southwest flight 2 weeks later, and I sit down, and there's no assigned seating in Southwest. You just sit down. I sat down. And I looked to the right of me, and at the window is Andrew Stanton on the Southwest flight from Burbank to Oakland. And I was like, get the heck out of here. I'm like, wait a minute, there's no way. I'm like, this guy should be flying private from Pixar.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. There's not a private jet on the...
No, and a quick Google
is this
search. Well, no, I knew it was him. I reckon because I just watched his TED talk. I knew it was him, but I go, what is he doing on a Southwest flight? And sure enough, if you look up, Pixar has like gold elite status on Southwest. Like they use it as a shuttle just between LA and Oakland, right? Or Emeryville. And so I leaned over to him. I'm like, hey, I don't want to bother you, Mr. Stan, but I'm like, your TED Talk meant so much to my family. My nephew's in the NICU now. And it was so beautiful. He took out a piece of paper and I said, what's your nephew's name? And I said, Francis William. And he drew a cartoon of Finding Nemo, and
Incredible.
to Francis William, just keep swimming.
Yeah.
And so it was just this incredible coincidence that I saw him on the plane. And so we did a story on that. And that was something that Kevin saw and reached out to us and said, hey, I'd love to work with you guys. I love the way you guys shoot stuff. And I think he was moved by the video and the short doc. Anyway, sorry for the long story. But
it's wonderful. I'm curious, is that something that Kevin James does? Is he kind of like, I can keep an eye out on fresh talent and I like to sort of connect with people and, put feelers out? Or was this a one-off for him?
No, yeah. I think so. I think he's got a lot of interesting people in his orbit. He's a lot of like the UFC, I know he was involved in the UFC and a lot of trainers, and I don't know. I think he does a lot of that. I don't know as far as the films, maybe with writers and people knowing him for a long time, for sure. He's always looking for interesting people to work with.
Yeah, there we go.
And
you
had
sort
no
of telling.
connection to Hollywood at all. You just like happened to fly on a plane. You sat next to Andrew Stanton.
I was taking a class actually with Judith Weston.
Oh, awesome.
I don't know if you know Judith Weston.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Acting, directing actors.
Directing actors, yeah. So Judith I would look at her as one of great life mentors in my life. Like aside from directing, she just has had a huge impact on my life. And I was going to her class, and she was the one who I think initially had told me about because I think she's mentioned in the TED Talk too, which is another funny
crazy.
I think Andrew Stanton mentions her in the TED Talk, so another layer of strangeness.
That's awesome.
But Judith has been a huge mentor of ours and the brothers too, and she's helped us with projects.
Boy, that's incredible. Yeah.
So cool. Yeah. I had her. She helped me on a project.
No way, Oren.
Yeah.
Did you go to what'd you do?
I just hired her to like read a script and meet with me to talk about it. And I was like, she had some notes on the script. It's like, I'm not going to give you notes on the script, but I really feel like the whole first act could go. Anyhow, let's talk about the
You're
characters.
like, what?
And then, she basically was like, so who in your life is this character? And I was like, oh yeah, I don't know. I guess like there's maybe a few different people. And she's like, and why do they do, and she just kind of like peeled the can open, the lid off the can.
The sardine can open?
Yeah. And then I was like, then I just emailed the actors and I was like, who are deaf, by the way. So
no way.
Easier to communicate with them over email. And I was like, so who in your life is like this character that you're going to play? And basically just like copying her question. And then like literally one of them was in There Will Be Blood. He played the deaf son, Daniel Day-Lewis' son.
No way.
Amazing. But he's like, Oren, you're like one of the best directors. Like that email you sent me, and that like just kind of
so funny.
Looking into the character, I was like, yeah, just ripped off.
When you got it, you got it, right?
Yeah.
Well, so
that's amazing. No, isn't she the greatest though?
She's
phenomenal.
Threatening to retire. Yeah.
I know. I mean, I've always referred to her as kind of like a Yoda, like always has the right. I mean, it's amazing. I've watched her. I mean, it's been incredible because I can't say enough about her because there's something about, the idea of when something happens in real life, there's usually 2 or 3 real human responses to an event in your life. And as directors or creatives, we try to invent all these like interesting responses that don't ring true. And she, I think she was more of an expert on life than anything, and living truthfully in the moment and creating real truthful moments on screen. But I can't say enough about her. I love her to death. She's just been amazing, and she's been great to all the guys.
That's awesome. Okay, so does Kevin live in Little Compton also? Is that also a thing?
No.
Well, yeah. My real question is like, okay, so you get that email, then what? Right? Because there's a huge gap between like, oh, I'm a huge fan of your work. I'd love to work with you guys, to like coming through, right? So So what were those next steps after you guys were like, can you believe Kevin James just emailed me? Like, what happens next?
Yeah, so he invited us to come down and visit him in Long Island. He was shooting one of his TV shows, and I think it was Kevin Can Wait, which was on CBS. I think we met him like right at the end of that show. And we got to meet him, and he had all these like crazy ideas. He's like, I want to shoot a music video. Would you guys do that? And we were like all showed up, and he had this lighting package delivered, and not knowing like we're all indie, filmmakers that don't use real Hollywood movies. And so we laughed about this scene, but we're on this stage, Gold Coast Studios in Long Island. He's ordered this lighting package. He wants to shoot this music video. His friend's got this song that he wants to do, and he's got all these ideas. And so our guys are like opening the lighting package and YouTubing how to start these lights up. I mean, literally,
where do we plug this in?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And thank God for YouTube. I mean, YouTube is the real film school nowadays. Our feeling is we come out of the YouTube film school. I would say everything we've learned has been through all the different beautiful essays people have done. We learned how to start those lights up on YouTube.
Sure.
Which is great. And we shot this music video. It was so random, and Kevin loved it. And he's like, let's do something else. And then what happened was his manager, Jeff Sussman, was like, listen, you got all these guys. They understand the internet better than you do. He was like, I've been trying to get you for years to start a YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. Why don't you do a YouTube channel? And so we're like, this is what we grew up doing short films. We'd love to do that. Mm-hmm. And so we started his YouTube channel.
And forgive me, is there any like money exchange? Does he like, hey, I'll pay you guys a little bit of money? Or is it just like, hey, I rented some lights. Let's go do a thing.
I don't think there's any talk about money. I think he may have I think when we like finished the video, he like threw us a few bucks for it. Like, I mean, I think he definitely like paid the guys, but there was no like contract.
Sure.
It was just kind of jumping in and doing it. And then, it was very, very much, this is a cool opportunity. And then we started writing with him right away. Like we started working on these shorts and stuff, but then immediately we were pitching him some of our movie ideas that we've had. And then there was one that he's like, I want to do another thing with Sandler. And we pitched them in this idea. It was called Surreal Estate. And it was about these two knucklehead real estate agents that have to sell like a haunted mansion. And Sandler liked it. He thought it was funny. And so we started writing that with him for Sandler. And that one didn't go. But I think that's maybe why Sandler gave us the home team.
Before you're like, we just got this movie for no reason, but you didn't let us know you were written an entire feature for
together now.
Yeah. Totally. Wait, maybe all those cool videos that we made with his friend. And then also like showing up and having all these pitches.
The way you said it, you saw him at like
you're right. There's a
Trader Joe's, and he is like,
and look, we're giving you a hard time, Chuck, because like that's the version you tell, in the 10-minute panel after the movie or whatever, right? Yeah, but and both are fun. Like the fairy tale did happen to you, and that's true. That's incredible. But also like, you showed up every single step.
You're right.
Yeah. And not just like, you weren't just receiving like job. Like, it's not just like Kevin was like, okay, shoot a music video. Now do this. And so
you
like,
brought a whole crew with you. Do you know what I mean?
Not just the crew.
Yeah.
Which, like you can get crew, but you're bringing ideas. You're like, you're bringing pitches. You're bringing material. Hey, we have this idea for a feature. Like that's the value more than like knowing how to turn on the lights,
Sure. Yeah.
You're right. You're right. You know what I will share, because I'm thinking I know I'm talking a lot about ourselves, but I want to provide value.
You're on a podcast, Chuck. Don't worry about it.
I know, but I thought something that was really interesting, something we did with Kevin and Sandler was we took a Google Doc, and I think it was Google Forms, and we took all our pitches and we put a picture up and we put the log line, and then we let them rate on 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And so really quickly we sent this out. I'm not kidding. We sent out probably, I think it was like 30 ideas or something. And they could go through each one and pick. And we shared this with Kevin and some of his people and his people on his team. And it was cool. They were able to go and rate.
You're blowing my mind so much because...
And at this point, they haven't even committed to making a movie with you.
But that's true for everybody.
I don't even think they asked us for it.
Right. But Matt, it would be easier to make this document if someone's like, hey, we got some money. Let's figure out...
No, hold on. No. Here's the thing that's blowing my mind about it, is that like all over town, there are so many decision makers who have scripts upon scripts upon scripts that they need to review. Right. Like there's the phrase weekend read is because, you need to read 6, 8, 12 scripts over your weekend and then come back with feedback on them. You're like, hey, no, I'm going to give you 15 great ideas. And all you have to do is click a button. And at the end, Google is going to give us consensus on what your favorites are.
Exactly.
It is the most frictionless way to get notes I've ever heard of. Yeah. Because all you need is it's just thumbs up, thumbs down. That's all we need. Right. And then you have a conversation, right? Get past the thumbs down or the and then let's just talk about, if you had 3 movies that had 30, points to their names, then you talk about those 3 movies.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So then after this,
really
you
cool.
have, like your 3 top ideas, and you just kind of blow those out with treatments and script.
Yeah. Then we started writing. Yeah. Then we started writing. Then we started writing one of them. I think we wrote 2 of them. And they didn't get made, but they led to other stuff. So I think
And if you got 8 brothers, it's 15 pages a brother.
Exactly. We've tried that. It doesn't always work.
Yeah.
We have tried that
Like,
version where,
this is not an action movie?
yeah, we could write a script in a day. That doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Funny.
It needs a lot more attention and many more hours and months and months and years. So obviously sometimes.
So how did Solo Mio come to be?
All right, you're gonna laugh at this one.
And Bob Iger was standing next to you at Pinkberry.
He was in a sauna.
Chipotle. Yeah.
No, this one sounds even worse than the other one. No, so we were writing. So again, as great as Kevin is, he was on another movie and invited a few of us to come up and write with him. And we were writing on this other movie, and we kind of crashed this lunch that he was having with the producers of that movie. And they started talking about what they're going to do next. And Kevin said, I've always wanted to shoot in Italy and Rome. And they asked us if we had any ideas. And we, on the spot, we didn't have anything written down. We pitched him this idea of a guy getting left at the altar. Like, what if Kevin plays this poor schmuck that gets left at the altar? And they loved that. And then my brother John had the idea. John's the writer of the movie. He said, with Pat, and he said, what if he goes on the honeymoon by himself? That'd be such a funny situation, a guy going on his honeymoon alone. And that was the kernel of the idea, and everyone kept pitching stuff at that lunch. And then Kevin and John and Pat went back to his trailer, and they started writing that night.
Awesome.
And
I always say, like, the best ideas because everyone pitches on them. You know what I mean? Like, It's like, oh, that's fertile territory. And like some jokes are going to be stronger than others, or some premises or whatever. But like, that's the beginning.
He's going to be on a gondola ride by himself.
Sure. Or like asking somebody to take a picture of him while he pushes up the Leaning Tower of Pisa, or what? You could pitch it all day, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great.
And so, how does the financing come through it? And is there a studio? And are these producers involved? Is that like?
So these producers took the pitch just on Kevin and being alone in Rome, left at the altar, and they sold the foreign rights at Cannes, and then they were able to get a little bit more money. And
sorry, when you say sell the foreign rights at Cannes, is that before or after production? Had you shot already, or is that your bankrolling the film? Yeah, pre-sale.
Yeah, so I'll give you the timeline. So we had lunch. We had lunch with the producers and Kevin in March. We started writing it. They sold the idea. Cannes is in, I think, May every year. They sold the idea then, and then we were in production in the fall.
Awesome.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Did you have a number that you wanted to get off of Cannes, or was it like however much money we get, we'll shoot?
I think it was whatever they could get. And again, we were not involved in any of that as far as the selling, but Jeffrey Greenstein and Mark Fasano were the producers and they'd had a lot of experience in that. But then we were in Italy, and we shot in September. We started shooting in September.
Awesome.
Nice. And did you try the spaghetti?
Yeah, we did. Three times a day.
Yeah. So I've always wanted to shoot at the Cinecittà. Did you guys shoot there at all? Or?
No, it's funny because we thought maybe we would end up there, but we were at another wonderful studio down the street. But,
I think that it's really like, if you need like a fake Roman set, or like it's kind of old timey.
Right.
Like you're more likely to shoot the Cinecittà if you're doing Doctor Who than if you're doing a Kentucky,
You're right.
I think it's a little cheesy that I want to do it, but still, that's wonderful, man. Awesome.
That's cool. So are all the brothers there?
So we were told, I think we were told that at the most we could have 4 there at a time, but we were like, we just brought everybody.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, just like get a nice big hotel room, right? Like, you guys probably shared rooms for a long time. So
for sure. We had people sleeping on the floor, and it was fun. We brought everybody, and then we ended up bringing our whole family out, and it was kind of one of these dream projects. And there's a story we tell about Pat, my brother Pat, who was one of the writers. Again, this is our second movie, but all of us are there, all of us are involved. And Pat was like, we're there, we're shooting in like Tuscany in this vineyard, and our whole family's there. And Pat's like, hey, this could be a real glimpse into what making movies could be like. And I was like, Pat, I'm like, this is it, man.
Yeah. It doesn't, literally doesn't get any better.
We're not going to do, I was like, it's all downhill from here.
This is as good as it gets. Let's soak it up, man. Yeah.
We're never going to. So we did. I think every day we got up with like a real sense of gratitude, and we're like, we don't deserve to be here, but we're so grateful. And it was fun, man. We tried to make a movie from day one, we were like, let's just make something that feels like a throwback, like feels like like a comfort film that people could watch together and smile and enjoy. And it's funny because I would say it's, maybe it's more of our, like, there's other films, other subjects that we want to tackle, but this was something that, everybody has those like guilty pleasures or those movies that they can go back to again and again that you love. And I think, and I think that's what we set out to do. We're like, let's make someone's favorite movie that they can, watch together. And when they're having a tough day, and that's really what we set out to do.
How was shooting in Italy? Any cool directing stories?
Yeah. So it was interesting because the Italian crews are amazing because they're legendary. Like the family, it's the same families that have been shooting all these movies for years. So generations of films there.
Right, it's like Fellini's great grandson.
Exactly. Yeah. There were people.
Frankie Fellini. Yeah, of course.
I'm not kidding. Like that was what it was like. You had that, and they could trace their, trace the ancestry back to the beginning of film in Italy, and it was beautiful. Also, too, not to mention they live in, we're walking into these locations and just jaw on the floor everywhere we're going, but this is where they live, so it was kind of neat. That was kind of neat to experience it and work with them.
I remember when I was traveling around Italy many years ago, we met some restaurant. She was like an American exchange student that was studying in Italy, and she's like, "Hey, you guys should come check out my apartment. Michelangelo used to live there." It's like, oh, that's insane.
No big deal.
Yeah, before he was like super famous.
Yeah. Before he was super famous.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. That's great.
But that's cool. Any interesting challenges?
There's an element of the mafia that is a part of this and part of working in Italy that control a lot of it. So we had to work with our location manager, had to work with certain facets of the families there, and you can't shoot in a certain place without their permission. And there was one day, I will send you a photo. There's one day where we were shut down for about an hour, and a senator had to show up and someone else had to show up, some power people, and they went around the corner and discussed some things, and then we were back up and running. But you have to, certain places you have to have permission to shoot there, and we were trying to be as respectful as possible, working with the locals there. And
like, anyone carrying a violin case?
No, thankfully not. And I'm trying to, make sure I'm, very diplomatic on this interview.
Sure.
But there were,
you don't want a horse head in your bed, right, Chuck?
No, no. But there were some challenges. We had someone from Interpol that was with us, and it turned out to be a friend of ours. Became very friendly with us. But he was there, just kind of making sure that that we were, working with the right people, and yeah. So it's a different. It's interesting. It was definitely had its challenges there.
We're making jokes and making light, but what was at stake? Right? Like, what is it, like, was it just like, oh, we're going to get shut down? Did you get a sense of violence, or was it more kind of bureaucratic? Like, how does
it was more bureaucratic. Yeah. There's no, it didn't, I don't think
it's no Godfather territory.
No, I mean, getting shut down is a pretty huge stake though.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And especially as you guys know, when you're on set and the amount of money that's going out the door every minute, it was one of those things where like, okay, well, how much is it going to cost to get us back up and running?
Right. Like, guys, I just drank 17 cappuccinos.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of, this is an interesting thing too, with the, like, a lot of the, like, I don't know what it is, but maybe it's just the American, I'm trying to think of the
mentality
word, mentality of just like, you guys, like, if someone's on set and something needs to get done, somebody like, okay, we'll do that. And then they go and move a mountain that nobody sees, and it gets done. It's the most impossible thing ever.
Yeah, and they're sprinting the whole time.
The whole time. Yeah. In Italy, we would ask for something, and like, we would just get the response like, no, that's impossible. Like, and there's no like,
sorry.
Yeah, it's just, that's impossible.
No frito.
So we love that because it was just very upfront. It wasn't the Hollywood like, oh yes, we will do that, and then
and they come back to turn those. Yeah, right.
Yeah, someone has to ruin their life for the next 24 hours to make that happen. It was just like, no, that's impossible. We can't do that.
I'm curious, as a band of filmmaking brothers, I'm sure you guys got used to doing it a certain way, right? Like you were alluding to, the gear you worked with wasn't always conventional, all of that stuff. Did you have any moments where you were like, caught yourself planning on doing it the old school way, and then realize, oh shoot, we're on a Hollywood movie, I actually can't do it that way anymore, and vice versa? Were there times where you wished it was the old way? Talk to us about that.
Yeah. So I think our first experience with that was on Home Team, the Netflix movie, where we'd only worked with us as a group. At the most, our crew, I mean, I don't know, maybe our biggest project, we had maybe 30, 40 people. And this was now, you had 500 people on a football field in New Orleans in the 120-degree heat and the lightning delays. And if we wanted to turn the camera on, you just couldn't, because that was going to take an hour. And that was something we learned kind of the hard way, where you can't, there's these very great systems that are in place, but for someone who does know how to operate in those systems, it's quite the education I think you need to have to operate in those systems where you're moving, it's the difference between being in this little boat that can sneak in and out of coves and do everything you want, or moving this giant cruise liner that's going to take a day to turn around. So that was something, I would say that was the biggest challenge for us. The biggest challenge for us was not understanding how to work in that environment where, no, we just want to turn around and get this shot. This is what we need. We know we only have,
Sure. Just pan the camera, guys. Right.
Just turn the camera out. It's
just tell the people in the stands there to go over there. They're like, okay, that's the 35-minute thing.
Yeah.
No, just tell them.
Exactly. There's a whole city that has to move and pick up their tents and move. And so that was kind of, and even the first AD, we worked with David Bernstein, who's Clint Eastwood's first AD, that does a lot of work.
He's like, you guys are doing more than one take? What's going on?
Yeah.
He's like, what time is your game?
Bernie. Yeah, exactly.
5 p.m.?
Exactly. But Bernie was like, he goes, I can see what you guys are dealing with. He's like, if I had just given you the camera and all these people went away, you could get that. But, so he was very helpful.
Yeah, he's sympathetic to the learning curve. Yeah. Did you
a
have
good
a
AD
moment?
realizes that. It's like,
Yeah. And maybe tries to help, bring some of those old school, creature comforts back in some way,
or even anticipate, I know these guys kind of like to shoot 360,
Yeah,
Let's
sure. Yeah.
set our gear up.
Yeah, exactly.
Supports that.
And there were those moments where we were able to just grab the cameras and take them off all the rigs, and we just kind of got into the huddle with the kids and that was some of our favorite stuff, that just was kind of more in the style of how we were used to doing it. So
did you have a moment where you felt like, oh, like the Hollywood thing has clicked? Like, I've got the hang of this now?
Absolutely. I think for sure in our last project, the one we just finished, and it took us a couple projects to get there, but there's a real freedom in living in that world where everybody, you come from the indie world and you're trying to do everything, right? You're trying to do it all, and being at peace with the fact that there are way more talented, creative people, and obviously they're looking at us to make help them make the decisions and get to the best place. But I think in our last project, more than ever, we felt that real comfort with just having full trust, and it takes some time to learn that system, and it's there for a reason, because it's the only way you can do these massive things. So I think having both experiences is really helpful, because there's some times where there were some days where we just had to say, nope, we're just taking the camera, we're going to do this like we used to, and we'll get it done. So I would say, and again, I'm probably not articulating it well enough, but our last film, it was great to really sit. And there's nothing better to know that all these amazing creative collaborators, have your back, and they want what's best for the project.
Yeah.
I'll share something with you guys that was probably the most special conversation I've ever had. Don't ask me how this happened, but we ended up getting to talk with Terrence Malick.
Right at McDonald's. He's in line behind you.
Yeah.
And to me, he's the ultimate. Ultimate. Like I remember sitting in a theater in New York watching The Tree of Life and sobbing, and while people were getting up and storming out next to me.
Right.
And I'm like,
you're like, we are not watching the same movie, I think.
No. And so something, a friend of ours had put us in touch, and he was willing to help us out on this project we were developing, which never got made. But he said something to us. He was like, lean on your collaborators. He's like, everybody thinks that they have to do it on their own, and it's all up to them. And he was like the auteur of auteurs saying this.
Sure.
But he said, you lean on your collaborators. He's like, you surround yourself with all these amazing artists, and you lean on each other, and that's what's going to make it beautiful.
So also only shoot during golden hour.
Yeah. Which we thought we were going to be able to do on Home Team, but no, we can't. How come we can't shoot at 6:00 in the morning?
Yeah.
But that's awesome.
But anyway, that's what we've tried to do on set is with all the brothers and there's so much stress too that goes along with it. We started handing out after our first movie because it's so crazy, and there's probably stories about that movie that was such a hard movie. Like I know that our UPM Todd, who had worked on Deepwater Horizon, he's like, this was harder than Deepwater Horizon, our first movie, and
yeah, it's like the stuntman from Apocalypse Now is like, damn, I'm quitting the business.
Yeah, wolf guys.
I know, but it was kids, it was COVID, it was lightning.
Yeah.
But anyway, we took this approach now where we hand out, and again, I don't know if like the true artists listening to this will appreciate this, but we did this. We hand out to all our production heads a picture of the pale blue dot. Carl Sagan's The Pale Blue Dot. And for us, it's something to focus on where like as hard as we're working, as everything we're doing, and we're making a movie, and it puts it in perspective. And I think we got to do more of that.
I don't think I know what the pale blue dot is actually.
I'm assuming it's Earth.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a picture, and it was taken by one of the satellites that went out, the probes that went out into space. I don't know if it's like taken from 90 million miles away, some crazy distance. And it's Earth, but it's like a speck of dust in a sunbeam. And Carl Sagan has this beautiful poem, and he talks about everyone who's ever lived out their lives lived it out on that speck of dust. And so it's something we've tried to take with us in our productions going forward, where everything's going to be hard. There's going to be a lot of tension, but we've tried to keep that perspective with the crew and try to find collaborators who will buy into that even
have that perspective too.
Yeah. Anyway. I don't know why I brought that up, but that's something that
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask one final question. I know we're gonna wrap up soon, but I'm just curious. You worked with the cinematographer Jared Fidel.
Yes, Jared Fidel. Yes,
Fidel, and I see from his work, it seems like he's kind of largely a commercial cinematographer. It's done a lot of really beautiful stuff. I'm curious if like why you hired like him and what the visual approach was. You said earlier that this is a movie you wanted people to be someone's favorite movie, like a comfort watch, and maybe something that feels good to see. Was there like some visual like language that you guys tried to like? How do you define that from a visual standpoint? I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna, I think something we said from the beginning was we love the essays, every frame of painting.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think that's something we really try to do is we really try to approach it. We're in this beautiful setting, and we really want to design the images like paintings. And we were in Rome. I mean, Jared Fidel, he comes from this commercial background. We worked with him on another project prior to Solo Mio. We love his work so much. And I'll say this, one of the things we wanted to do is we wanted to elevate this, because there's a version of this movie, because the story is very simple. It is formulaic. We try to add some twists and turns at the end, but it does follow this formula. There's a version of this movie that is shot terribly, and and that nobody would watch. And I think with Jared's lighting and what he did, we feel like it elevated the movie. It made it so much special. I mean, next to the actors we love the actors in this film, all of them, Nicole Gramato and Kevin and the rest of the cast, Kim Coates, Jonathan Rumi, Julianne Emery, Julie Serta, Allison Hannigan. They lent, it was so beautiful, but Jared elevated it. I think these actors could have lived in a film that didn't look like this. And for me, it's probably the most special part of the movie is the way he approached the visuals. And we really fought hard for it to get him there, because it was a low budget movie working with unions in Italy. And it was funny. Our first meeting, they wanted us to meet with some Italian DPs who had done a lot of Italian television. And we're like, of course, we'll meet with everybody, and we sat down at that meeting and we met some amazing people, very talented DPs. But I think Jared had this approach to this movie that it was, we didn't want to shoot it like the rom-coms are shot today. I don't want to say anything negatively about that, but a lot of it is very flat lighting, very TV show lighting.
Yeah, there's that Netflix look.
Yeah, exactly.
Which isn't, ubiquitous. You know what? We all know what we're saying.
We know.
Yeah.
No, we said it. We said it. We said we don't want it to look like, because there's a version of this movie that looks very bad and very flat. And we were like, we want it to look like how they used to shoot these movies. If you look at, like, we referenced The Apartment, which is an old movie.
Sure.
But it's shot so beautifully, and it's black and white, but it's the lighting in it and the camera movements and everything. So we hope we did that. We hope people notice that extra special thing that I think makes it even feel, for us, it makes it feel more nostalgia. So the short answer is we're going for nostalgia. We wanted the rom-coms of the past got that justice. They got that care with the light and the camera movements where we felt this one deserved it because we wanted to fit in that world, if that makes sense. And Jared, we love him. He did incredible. And the movie is so special to us because of what he did.
Awesome.
Well, Chuck, I love that. Before we get to endorsements, how can people keep track of you and all that some stuff you and your brother
find out what this next movie is?
Yeah,
sure. So I would say probably Kinnane Brothers on Instagram is where we share most of our stuff. And then John's
does one of you do all the posting, or do all of
John?
You do it?
John does. Yeah. John does all the socials. Yeah. And he runs Screenplay as well.
Awesome.
And there's a cool video he just made, and it's showing us like making movies as kids, and then
cool.
There's like a cool little thing that he cut together that you can see on our Instagram.
That sounds awesome. I can't wait.
Cool.
Guys, thank you so much for this. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's been so fun, man.
I mean, it's kind of a fascinating story your way in. I don't think we've heard that.
It's a weird way in.
Yeah, it's great though. It's great.
Well, Chuck, thanks so much. Matt, do you have just a few minutes left to endorse something with me?
I do indeed.
Unpaid endorsements.
My unpaid endorsement. First, I'm going to double down on those Sound Guy shorts. They still make me giggle. They're really fun. And truly, like, the technical execution on them is great. Like, there's a lot of skill going into them that really makes them seamless in a way that's cool. And we could have done a whole episode on how you guys did all that, but for another time, for the next movie.
These Sound Guy shorts have a lot of views too. Yeah, multiple millions of views.
They went viral. And then I have one more endorsement, which is Top Seeds crackers, which are like basically like wafers of like chia seed and sunflower seed. It's just a bunch of seeds they squish together, and they're delicious. They're a little salty. They're filling in a way that like some snack foods don't tend to be filling. And what's funny, I bring it up because I had a 45-minute conversation with Oren's dad at Christmas about his recipe. And they're delicious. So my wife was like, hey, you should endorse these Top Seeds, but also I would like the recipe from your dad, please.
Yeah, we actually made them. So Trader Joe's, last time I went, they have this like kind of white cheddar popcorn that we kind of get. It's like on the healthier side of unhealthy food, but they had a new flavor, and I asked the guy at the checkout, I saw it at the checkout stand. I was like, what do you think of this popcorn? Is it better than the white cheddar? He's like, I think so. So I bought myself some Buffalo Ranch popcorn, and it's like literally buffalo sauce, with like a little bit of ranchy kind of vibes. And it's probably made for like 20 servings. I ate 10 of them yesterday in the kitchen, standing by the counter.
Yeah,
it's that good.
It sounds like a perfect Super Bowl snack, right?
Yes.
If you're not a wings person, you can have the Buffalo Ranch.
Yeah. It is. I mean, it does make your fingers like a little red. It's not quite as bad as like Cheetos, or Flamin' Hot Cheetos, but it's pretty good. I'd recommend it. Yeah, it's like the Buffalo Snyder's, mustard pieces that are also just so good, but
those
it's like you're killing yourself eating them.
Yeah.
It's like, once in a while. My other one was just going to be, whatever your opinion of Elon Musk, Grok, Imagine, the new one just came out like yesterday. It's free and it's really freaking good. I'm running the same prompts through Midjourney and Grok Imagine, and Imagine like beats Midjourney like 9 times out of 10 in terms of just understanding what I'm trying to do. And then if you type in a prompt, let's say you say, Rhode Island based filmmakers on a podcast, it'll just start generating images. And the more you scroll, the more it'll generate. It'll make hundreds of them. And then on every single one, there's a little play arrow. You can click on any one and hit play, and it'll make a video out of it. And they just introduced audio too. So I thought that it was like 100% free. Today I did run out of like my use, but it refreshes. It's like ChatGPT, the free one, where it's like, come back tomorrow at 2 p.m. But it's pretty insane. You can also, the video doesn't have first frame, last frame, which is the one where you can like put in the first frame and the last frame, but it has first frame. So you can be like, here's a picture of Matt. And here's Matt without clothing. Yeah. So, and you can edit. It kind of has a little bit of nano banana stuff where if you make a photo with it, you can hit edit image, and then you can say like, change the shirt to be red or whatever, and it'll do it. So it's kind of, I mean, you just can't beat the price. It's free. I mean, Matt
Sure.
probably thinks the price is like a future
our
of humanity.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. What do I know? Yeah.
So check it out if you want. I mean, I'm still angry at all of this stuff. Don't get me wrong. But if you can't beat them, crock them.
Yeah.
We went to a panel last night with some big directors on it, and they were asked about AI, and they kind of the consensus, which I thought was interesting, was that it's kind of up to us to kind of decide how it's going to affect this industry.
Yeah, it's not a foregone conclusion. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
If you guys want us to try to get you some free popcorn, you can email us at justshootitpod@gmail.com. Yeah, you can follow us across all social media. We're at Just Shoot It Pod on Instagram. I'm at Kaplan.
And I'm at Mr. Matt Enlow across all social media. This episode was edited by Kevin O. Yang. Thanks, Kevin. Social media is by Lily Bouvier. Thanks, Lily. Produced by Tyler Schmall. Thanks, Tyler. And you're listening to music provided by the Free Music Archive and the artist, Jazar. Thanks, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.